Hey everybody, I just had to make an update for you guys. Y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. Before I tell you this story, in order for you to understand how this all happened, you need to know I'm back in Canada and doing super well. My guy came and rescued me and brought me back, and I'm here with my close to my daughter and my grandson. I got back here beginning of March. It's awesome. It's great to be back. What feels like home to me. It's great to see everybody. Everything's going super well. So okay. So and I've been thinking a lot about my dad and step monster because now I am a stepmother of adult children who don't live here. They don't live in town. I My daughter knows my guy and has for years, and they just adore each other. And I know the rest of his family, but I don't know his kids. And so everything that we've done has been colored by the experience I had with the step monster, and I'm extra careful, right? Because I don't want to ever make them feel like she made me feel. And going through that process has brought back a lot of memories of some of the things that I had to go through, right? So, like one of them came to visit and I wanted to make sure the guest bedroom was great and we had all their favorite food and everything they take for their coffee. And, like you just don't want them to not feel this is the home that they grew up in. So I've changed things and decorated things and I'm working on things. So things are weird enough when they come in. You don't want them to feel like they're out of place or, things like that. So I'm trying to be so careful, not to make them feel like it's all about me now and all of the horrible things that I had to go through. When you don't feel welcome in your own parents' home, especially one that you grew up in. I didn't have that experience, but, it's a very sad thing. So a lot of that has been on my mind, but still no contact with them, obviously. I had no intentions of contacting them. So yesterday, my daughter messages my boyfriend and says, "Are you guys busy? I need to come talk to mom in person." And I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on? And then she says, "It's nothing about any of us." And so I immediately said, "Oh, either dad or stepmonster has died." And I had a couple hours before she got here. And I was thinking, okay, one of them is dead. What if my dad is dead? She's a lot older than him, maybe her first, but maybe it's him. And so I'm fine. And I have a couple of hours to ponder this over. And my guy's an attorney or a lawyer, they call him here. And we're being very practical. I'm like, what would I need to do? What are my obligations legally? We just hire a lawyer in that state and whatever. And I'm fine. And in fact, I'm thinking, I'm like relieved. Like, okay, finally it's over. Finally, nobody can try to say, well, you should reach out to him because what if he died? Well, he's dead and I'm fine. So finally, if somebody says, where do your parents live? I can say where my mom and stepdad live and not feel like I'm withholding information. Finally, if somebody asks about my real father, I can say, oh, he passed away. And they'll say, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'll say, yes, thank you. And that will be the end of that. Like, finally, I can be like a normal person for the first time in 51 years. It was awesome. I was totally good. I was totally fine. And just in practical mode, like, what does this mean? What would I need to do, if anything, and whatever. So my daughter comes over and no. She walks to the door and I said, which one of them is dead? And she said, neither one of them. He's looking for us. You've got to be kidding. Like, I was so disappointed. I'm laughing, but it's not funny, but it is funny. But like, I was like, you've got to be kidding. So apparently he posted on his Facebook that he's looking for me, my name and my daughter's name, and then my last name. So I'm looking for Deb or my daughter's name and my last name, which has never been her last name, ever. So he doesn't even know her last name. So, and it's important. So one of my cousin's kids, who is friends with her on Facebook, took a screenshot and sent that to her and said, "This is you guys, right?" So my daughter starts asking some questions. She's like, is this really him? What is this about? Like, I can't tell my mother about this until I know what's going on because I don't want to upset her. You know, she was devastated by everything that happened. Like, I'm not going to raise this with her unless it's really him and whatever. So apparently, he and Stepmonster divorced a year ago. They were married when I was 9. I'm 51. Divorced. They are divorced. Because according to this girl's mother, he wasn't taking care of her. She was ailing. He was drinking a lot. He started drinking a lot is how they phrased it. It was like, started. Yeah, like before I was born, but okay. And so he started drinking a lot and wasn't taking care of her. Her daughter had come to live with them. I knew that. I had heard that. He's evil as Stepmonster, so I'm sure there was some clusterfuckery happening with something there. Anyway, they moved her to another state with one of the other 8 of her children. And they're divorced because he wasn't taking care of her, sending the health nurses home or something. Probably couldn't afford them. I don't know. And they're divorced. And he has Parkinson's disease and needs to let me know that. Well, his mother had Parkinson's disease because it could run in the family. His mother had Parkinson's disease, which I remember because I wasn't a self-consumed malignant narcissist when she had Parkinson's disease. So this is not new information to me. I've known that that's in our family. How you didn't figure it out until you actually were diagnosed with it. Shocker. Shocker that he wasn't taking care of his ailing wife. He always took good care of his animals, but other than that, no. Yeah, so he's alone. This girl's mother says he's alone and lonely and drinking and and so now he's looking for us because even his malignant, toxic, rancid wife and her dysfunctional offspring. Sorry, you guys are in a cabinet. I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't ever filmed in this house. I don't know where to go. You're in my spice cabinet, and that's what's happening here. Even they have left him. All of these people who were rallying by him while Brandy and I were so awful throughout our whole lives, who always made us feel to be pieces of shit or whatever, they're gone. And nobody's going to call you for Father's Day. So now all of a sudden, after 11 years of not giving a fuck where we were, if we were okay in a strange country, did your grandson or great-grandson get born okay? Is he healthy? Is he fine? Are we healthy? Are we okay? Are we alive? Are we eating? Do we have food? Are we living on the streets? Didn't give a shit for 11 years, but all of a sudden now that there's nobody to torture, it's urgent that he finds us. The fact that he's divorced boggles my mind. I can't even imagine those two ever, I don't know. It's like, that's mind-boggling. But I, of course, am having I have nothing to say to him. I have no intentions of speaking to him. My daughter has a bit of the guilt, like what if he dies and he tried to talk to her and she didn't reach out or whatever. So, I've told her that that's up to her. It's her relationship with him, and I'm not gonna advise her either way. Keep him away from grandson because we don't need that toxic shit in his head. We can skip a generation for that. But that, I won't be upset either way. But that if she does choose to speak to him, to not give him any information about me. And if he says, tell your mom or whatever, just say, if you have anything to say to you need to find her yourself and say it. Not, don't let him make you be the go-between or any of that nonsense. So, the moment you say, Grandpa says, I'm going to say, stop right there. I don't want to hear what comes after that because I don't really care. He's been dead to me for a long time now, right? Like I already did the grieving. I did all that since 2008. And I have no intentions of speaking to him again. And I don't know. I just thought you guys would like to know he's divorced from Stepmonster. Which is crazy and it's maddening because it's like as horrible as she was to me, that didn't do it, but whatever, she wasn't mobile anymore. So that, I don't know. It's just, some probably very minute thing that caused them to get divorced after all these years of craziness. I don't know. I kind of revel in the fact that he's in that big old house all by himself with nobody to talk to. I'm kind of okay with that. I think, as you go through this stuff, you wonder, there's always that voice in the back of your mind where you're like, maybe I am doomed, especially when you don't have your shit together and you're not in a good relationship and all these things. And you're like, maybe I am the problem. Maybe everything they said about me is correct. But right at this moment, I am with the kindest, smartest, sweetest guy I've ever known in my life. We have a beautiful life, a beautiful home. We communicate and respect each other brilliantly. I'm happier than I've ever been in my whole life. My daughter is great. My grandson is great. She's in a brilliant relationship. We have... since I've been back, people are like, oh, we need you to be on this committee. Oh, we need you to, we want you to be involved. Like I've got invitations to be in part of things and on things and like, oh, thank goodness you're back. We could really use you to do this or this, I'm valued and appreciated and happy. And I have really good things happening and he doesn't. So I don't know. That hasn't always been that way though, right? So for those of you who are going, I don't know. I mean, I'm doing the work and I'm trying to get my shit together, but it ain't all together and they're still doing pretty freaking good. It's gonna turn, right? Because they're not changing and they're not doing the work and they're never going to. And you are. So keep the faith because there's times where it's like, how come he's okay and I'm struggling? How come these assholes are okay and I'm struggling, whether it's work or relationships or whatever? It's like, this doesn't seem fair. Like I'm really trying hard and trying to be a better person and like, what's the deal? It all comes around. So I don't know. There's not a point to this. It's a last minute impromptu sort of recording here. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing really well. I hope I don't sound like I'm braggy because I'm not. I'm not being braggy. I'm just trying to... This, to me, it's like, yes, justice does come, but it comes slow. But it comes, right? It comes. Keep the faith. And I don't know. Any advice you guys have about this or for my daughter because she's having pangs? put them in there. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Bye.